Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the second of today's Innovative Startup Series presentations at Chemspec Digital 2021. It's an absolute pleasure to reintroduce Dr. Helga Banks of BCMP Consultants and European Chemistry Partnering. We've partnered together with them for now, I think, the fifth time. I think, Dr. Helga Banks, you said earlier on, for Chemspec Europe, and we look forward to our continuing relationship even in Frankfurt next year. For another round of startups to present their companies to us, as you will this time round as well. This particular presentation is on new developments in the sustainability startup scene. Over to you, Dr. Helga Banks.
Thank you very much, Christiane Beck. And it was the first time that I was so kindly reintroduced. So thank you very much for that point. And you are exactly right here in this session, because we are the program with a light bulb. And light bulb is standing for innovations. And so we, of course, try to bring you in contact and together with people which are in the founding business and the venture capital business to help startups really to grow and to come with their products to the markets. And of course, we have also a glance on typical startups in that area of sustainability, and they will give short presentations, and so that you can come and go into contact with them with an email or with a LinkedIn profile. However, it's my pleasure also as the initiator of ECP and being partner of Chemspec Digital this year and also already for many years. It's my pleasure to be your host in this session, your moderator, and my very special pleasure is to introduce right now, and I'm sure you could see him already some seconds, Friedrich Barth. And Friedrich Barth, he is the initiator and the organizer, and he's the chairman and managing director of the Global Entrepreneurship Center. And I'm not sure whether you heard about this initiative, because this is a program, a sponsored program by the state of North Rhine-Westphalia and other investors to help startups from all over the world to grow in Germany, to reach the higher technology readiness levels. So I'm now sure, Friedrich, you are on the screen. I hope you are now able to share the presentation with us. Otherwise, give me a sign and I will make another minute. However, I say welcome. I'm really happy to have you with us. And we are really all curious, because it's one of the first, maybe it is the first talk and presentation which you give about the Global Entrepreneurship Center. And happy to have you with us, and I hand over to you.
Well, thanks a lot, Olga. Thanks for this very kind introduction. It's a very big pleasure to talk here and to give you an introduction to the Global Entrepreneurship Center. Well, what I will do, I will present you, if we can upload the PowerPoint. Then I give you this on the presentation. If I cannot download the PowerPoint, then I just give you the description like that. Yeah. So one moment, we try to upload it. This will take probably very short time. Okay, I just continue and let's see if it will come or if it will not come. It doesn't matter, because I know anyway what I want to tell you. So the Global Entrepreneurship Center is is a center located in close to Düsseldorf, and it is a brand new center with a new approach, supported by the state of North Rhine-Westphalia and the federal Ministry of Economic Affairs. The Global Entrepreneurship Center is a scale-up center. Why that? Europe has a big problem, not only Europe, but also Germany, because only 1% of the startups which are founded in Europe scale to mature companies. 99% either stagnate or they die. There are various reasons for that. Well, let's say in Europe and the US, they scale 3 times more, let's say, companies than the entire European Union, and the Silicon Valley alone scales as much companies as the EU. So we have a very serious problem, and this is the problem what the Global Entrepreneurship Center wants to change. And we have, for that, we have very specific and new programs which we offer, which is 3 different types of programs. One is the so-called GAC Academy. This is a 2 times 3 months program, which is let's say more like a training program for earlier startups, only at TRL 3 to 4. And then we have the GAC Factory program, which is a very specialized service and very individual service, and I will explain that into more detail. And then we have the GAC Technology support, which is support in lab access and in technical area for piloting, let's say, for getting access to technical areas where you can build your prototypes. So these are the 3 main areas of support. So what I would like to do is that I go very more in detail in this GEC factory, what we call it, which is the individualized support for startups. Why are we doing this? Because there is a lot of support from incubators and accelerators in the early stage until TRL level 4 and 5. If you talk about let's say deep tech startups. But there is not much support when they get out of the universities, out of the normal incubators and accelerators, then they fall into a second valley of death. And then they face a lot of barriers of growth, which is not only the finance. Yeah, the finance is, of course, is one area where while Europe still has a problem in providing enough risk capital, in particular in the deep tech area. But there is also a lack of, let's say, support, let's say, for the companies, for example, in getting their IP, getting the right personnel, getting market access. And this is then exactly what we do. We analyze the company in detail with a professional team, and then we analyze where exactly they need the support. Is it more in do they already have IP, or do they need better IP protection? Do they need support in finding the right people? Do they need support in marketing and market access? Do they need support in industrial scaling of their process, which are probably only on a prototype level? Or do they need a support in digitalization? Because that's also very often a huge problem, because you see young companies, they have let's say they have a whole spaghetti approach towards their digital strategy, and that's also a barrier to growth. Then we analyze with the leading team of the company. And then we say, okay, you need probably support in digitalization, in market access, in industrialization. Then we identify individuals, very senior mentors, who are then going into the company, and they will not teach you what and how, what to do and how, but they will do it together with you. That's the big difference. So they will go once a week, twice a week into the company, and they will work concretely with you and get the solution done. This program, this factory program, is 15 months long, and we invest into each companies up to 200,000 euros, because these mentors and these specialists, highly specialized people, they will be paid by us. And all this package, this 15-month package, will let's say will be agreed, of course, in the contract with the startup company. They will receive this service support worth 200,000 euros. It can also, under certain circumstances, go up to 300,000–400,000 euros. And then, of course, we also agree, well, on the payback. If the startup has certain criteria, they don't have to pay back. Yeah, if they are really transformative, if we see, okay, this is a technology which will be really disruptive, and they are willing to settle also here in close to our office, then this whole support is free, and then it goes down to let's say payback after 3–4 years after they are successful, or we negotiate a certain form of equity. But it's a very flexible approach depending on the situation of the startup. So now the big question: what kind of startups do we take? Do we take everybody? No. We have a very clear focus from the technology areas. So we are looking for startups in the area of textiles, in the areas of building and living, in the area of food and agriculture, and in the area of mobility. And very special of the Global Entrepreneurship Center, we look for that transformative character to achieve the SDGs and the climate targets. So we are the first global center who really focuses on, let's say, technologies which are sustainable and which make a difference in order to achieve the SDGs and the Paris Climate Accord. So we will do not only a normal due diligence, but we will do a sustainability assessment of the technology and of the startup. It's more the technology, because on the startup, because they don't have a production yet, so it's more on the technology and on the let's say on the future outlook. And the objective is then, of course, that we take these startups in these areas. And what means success for us? Success is if we take them, for example, after a Series A investment round, and we bring them to Series B or Series C investment rounds. And that is, of course, what let's say what we want to achieve. In order to achieve that, what I said at the beginning, well, we want to close this, let's say, close this gap, and we want to increase this figure that only 1% of the startups are successful in Europe by a significant amount. And what is very important that for you to understand is the individualized programs are something which are really very much tailored to the later stage. So the later you are, if you're TL 8 or 9, we really go much more specific, and it might only be, let's say, very specific executive, let's say, training, or let's say it might be also only marketing support. So depending where the company is, and depending where, let's say, in which technology areas we are in, and then so we shape our support, our services. What is the future outlook into this? Of course, we will start more or less now. The launch event of the Global Entrepreneurship Center is on the 15th of October in Düsseldorf, where you all welcome to join us. It's physical for 150 people, but it will also be online. The center will be launched by the Minister Pinkwart, the Minister of Economic Affairs of North Rhine-Westphalia, and the State Secretary Winkelmeier-Becker from the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs in Berlin. And we will have three discussions, three panel discussions there. One on the finance issue, one on the scale-up issues, and one on the textile, because the textile, and that's very important, is now our first area which we will tackle. And at the 15th of October we will launch our Textile Award, which is worth 350,000 euros, 200,000 euros for the first one, 100,000 for the second one, and 50,000 euros for the third one. We will have a jury of textile specialists, and we will select the winners, and we will announce the winners then in January. Most probably at the fashion fair in Frankfurt, the Sustainable Fashion Fair. So this is how and when we start. What is the future vision? At the moment, we are here in the Areal Böhler in Düsseldorf. We have rented offices. We will also provide, of course, not only the services, but we provide co-working spaces. We will have lab access in the building in the next year, and then by hopefully the end of in 1 year's time, we will start building our new innovation center, which will be a new house close to the area where we are in. Will be a center of 15,000 square meters. And we already have the investors in place, and this will be then a completely new innovation center with very different areas of support, and we will have, of course, labs and technical areas. We will have offices. We will have apartments for the startups, because this is part of our story. The best startups which we come here will get so-called soft landing support. So they will get, if they are coming from abroad, they will get all kinds of support in finding the apartments, in finding the schools for the kids, and also in all the authorizations which they need, in finding the right production places. So that's part of the soft landing. So that's one part of where we want to go to, and we will now also start next year to prepare a venture capital fund that the Global Entrepreneurship Center has then finally, hopefully by the end of 2022, its own venture capital fund alongside, let's say, our support services. And you will see, we will discuss this during our launch event in the finance panel, because we see that we need also a new approach, let's say, to finance. We need much more, let's say, patient capital, capital which doesn't want to do the exit already after 3 years, but which has the patience to stay with the deep tech startup. In particular, in chemistry, you need much longer development times. So also the finance instruments have to be adapted to this, and this is what we will try to establish, and become then also, let's say, a lead investor, let's say, in terms of impact and in terms of patient capital, because that is what we always look. And that is why our center is a value-based center, because we look for very concrete impact, not only on the bank account, but also, let's say, in our societal challenges, which we have in achieving the SDGs and the climate targets, that we want finally to support, let's say, financially and with our services, those startups which have a very concrete and very positive impact on this very challenges agenda. And we don't see it, we see this as a huge opportunity. It offers 12 trillion, let's say, dollars market opportunities, and we want to bring some of them, let's say, to Europe, to Germany, and to North Rhine-Westphalia. Thank you very much for your attention.
Of you, even without the presentation, it was really overwhelming, your program. And I like very much the soft landing approach, because that's, to my feeling, very important to have this offer for young companies coming from all over the world. And I also learned that young companies have in the digitization area a spaghetti approach. Have never heard about that. Friedrich, you mentioned the role of investors. You spoke about the gap in production to reach the higher technology readiness level, but you also gave us the perspective that you are building up an own investor fund, so a venture capital fund. So what about the role of other investors for you in your business model as the managing director of GEC?
Well, of course, well, we have, let's say, thanks to you, Holger, we already had a very interesting roundtable with 12 investors, yeah. And I was very happy because they really welcomed our approach, and they said we need to talk much more. We have to have these roundtables much more often, where we talk concrete cases, where we talk, let's say, approaches, where we talk how probably the different investors can come together. Because if it's an interesting, but probably, let's say, risky investment, you know, nobody wants to go alone, yeah. And you need to bring up the right financial architecture and the right investors together. But for that, you need to know each other, and you need to you need to, let's say, get into this new approach together. And I can see that the venture capital and the private equity world, they see that the need for change as well. They need to green their portfolios. They need to bring their portfolios to, let's say, more sustainability and to more, let's say, climate protection. And I think nobody can do this alone. We need to do this together. And of course, our advantage as GEC is we bring them, let's say, companies which are ready to invest, and which are, let's say, already have a good sustainability assessment, yeah. And so we can help them to green their portfolios. And I think it's very necessary that we work together on this, because otherwise, all alone, we will not achieve it.
I mean, you mentioned that just a couple of seconds ago, but just to be sure, you're not talking about just venture capital, but also about the corporates. Is it right?
Once again, there was a cut, Holger.
Okay, you're not just talking about venture capitalists, the typical venture capitalists, but you're also talking about companies and the corporate venture units, for example.
Yes, all kinds of investors, also the development banks, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's because they combining them in a clever way can, let's say, can really change things, yeah. And they all have different interests. They come from different backgrounds, and I think respecting that and combining that in the right way, probably at the right phase, I think this is the art what we have to do in the future.
Really, one hour ago, we had Mari Asano with us, principal at the European Circular Bioeconomy Fund. And that's the one point. And you mentioned a big word, because I'm very proud about that, because I'm an educated chemist. You also talked about chemistry. So in your case, in the GEC arena, in your facility, it's not all about biotechnology and bioeconomy, but also about green chemistry, sustainable chemistry.
Of course. Well, we see the sustainable chemistry as one of the big bases and plus for let's say, for all the future innovations. I think chemistry is very much overlooked, and in particular sustainable chemistry in the innovation world today. because everybody
Everybody
goes to artificial intelligence, everybody goes to IT, yeah, and then. But in Germany, one of our big industries is the chemical industry, and we need to be innovative in the chemical industry. And I can really see, well, I give you an example. When you want to have a new textile, yeah, when we have, well, where should it come from? It has to come from a partnership with the chemical industry. What I see as one of the future key issues is we need new partnerships along the value chains, because innovation today is far too much. Okay, we go in this part of the value chain or in this part, but this is the approach we shouldn't take in the future. We should bring the people along the value chains together for, let's say, for the new innovations, and the chemistry plays always a key role in this. This is my understanding and my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much. Friedrich, you mentioned also in 2.5 weeks we have this big meeting, so I will be also present and will moderate the textile panel you mentioned already, 15th of October. So just the open question, are you still have places and seats available? So the audience which is today with us, can they register for your event in Düsseldorf?
They can register. There are still some places available. But it's filling up quickly. We have, but you have just to go on our website, let's say gec/scaleup.com, and you find the program there. You can register, and you would be all welcome. And I would be very happy if I see many people from the chemicals world.
Okay, thank you very much, Friedrich. And now you have a final sentence to give a big marketing message into the world that you now are open for applications from young, and not only young, but young and engaged people and entrepreneurs from all over the world to come into contact with you. So now your main statement.
Well, it's not my main statement. It's a sentence from Albert Einstein, which I like a lot. He said, well, a good idea is good when everybody at the beginning says it's impossible. Yeah, so try the impossible. Yeah, don't be shy. Let's say to go for this if everybody says it's impossible. Yeah, because this is the courage we need in the future.
Friedrich, perfect. Thank you very much. We learned a lot from you, and yeah, we see us in 2 weeks and also next February when Global Entrepreneurship Center will be an integral part of the 6th ECP, which we will be held digital. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, Holger, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Friedrich. So now we have a next startup pitch, and with us is the man with a complicated name for me, Dr. Nedeljko Milosavljević. I hope that I made it the right way, and you are from Serbia, Dr. Knight Du. And we are really curious now to learn what your message is. Ned, please, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Well, you pronounced that very good. So good afternoon to all of you. My name is Nedeljko Milosavljević. I am co-founder and CEO of Dr. Knight. And Dr. Knight is a company that solved one of the biggest issues you might have during the laundry. Yes, I'm talking about dyeing of your clothes during the laundry. Did you know that 70 to 80% of you had the same problem as many others with the dyeing of your clothes? And not just that, but trying to solve this problem with using existing products, they're ending up in new problems like filter clogging or dye redeposition. And of course, there is always the problem with environmental pollution. But no worries. We have a solution, and solution is completely new material and technology on the market, which introduce eco-friendliness, reusability, efficiency, multi-use, and functional design. So let me introduce you Dr. Knight. Dr. Knight is reliable, efficient, so fast removal of dyes or colorants, reusable, multi-practice. We like to say it's a powerful laundry tool. It can be combined with fabric softener, water softener, antimicrobial agent, or we can pack it as a all-in-one, as a combo pack. We filed a PCT application submitted in November 2018. Just a month ago, we entered in the regional phases and invested more than 35,000 euros in regional applications. We are covering a wide range of materials, perforated packaging, and method of production. So it is really wide protection. During the September 2018, we actually bought the Nielsen report, and it shows us amazing numbers. Basically, total sold units of cover catcher just in the United States market, it was in the worth of $2.something million. And did you know that there is 850 million washing machines worldwide? And also the trends are going on our hand, basically. So there is eco-friendly products, and green laundry is a top trend in this industry. Unilever announced $1 trillion market opportunity for eco innovations. And again, there is a communication study that said that 86% of US consumers expect companies to act on social and environmental issues. Our business model is B2B. Basically, we're relying on white labeling and percentage of revenue from the licensing agreement. Our competition is big and coming from the well-known players in the laundry aid industry like Henkel, Carbona, and many others. But the common for all these players is that their product is based on the sheet technology. Basically, they are offering the same type of the product to the consumers. And again, the method of production is very, let's say, old. It is 20 years old method of production, so not at all efficient, energy efficient. And again, we can see the differences in this table and the advantages of Dr. Knight over the existing technology and the products. This is our modest economic projection from 2021 to 2025. The team is composed on a multidisciplinary actually team. We have a different experience in R&D, tech transfer, marketing, project management, and actually this is the core team. We have several other people employed in the company. Until now, we received around 200,000 euros. It is mainly through different accelerators and different innovation funds. Actually, it was Innovation Fund of Republic of Serbia, and all of that was equity-free funding. Our next step is actually strategic partnerships and investment from Henkel, Unilever, Frosch, Johnson, Clariant, or similar companies. So basically, we are in the phase of search of the strategic partners. So on this side, you can see the contact, our contact, and thank you very much for the attention. You're
for 2 minutes. Sorry. So Ned, thank you very much for the presentation, and we have still 1 minute to have a question. So when you showed us your products, and how often can you use them, and what's at the end of the product life cycle of your products? Can you recycle them?
Sure. Basically, our product. So actually, I show you the packaging. So basically, the heart of innovation is inside that packaging, and it's a polymer which can reused from 3 to 33 times. That depends on the basically company and wishes. Let's say like that. So basically, we are fine tuning the composition, and we can use it from 3 to 33 times. The outer shell can be used numerous times, but also we can pack that in a tea bag. So basically, this is up to us how we will and our partners actually how we want to show that to the consumers.
And do you produce your products by your own, or do you have already a partner in that?
No. We already developed the machine for the production of our product.
Okay. Ned, thank you very much for this insights into your company, and all the best for you to come into contact with the right people to make the next financing round. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So we now come to our next startup in this hour, and it's also already the final one. It's Thermolon Limited. And with us is Alex Murdoch, and the topic is non-combustible building insulation. And we are now, Alex, we are looking forward to your story. Over to you.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Thanks for having me. I will just share my screen here. Yeah, so as Holger mentioned, my name is Alex Murdoch. I'm the CTO of Thermilon, and we're working on the next generation of non-flammable mineral-based building insulation. So this is a photo of a video of what happens when you apply fire or extreme heat to a standard polystyrene insulation panel. And it raises the question of why we use those panels, why we can't make something different. And so our mission as a company is to bring energy efficiency to buildings through insulation without compromising on fire safety. And to achieve this, we've been developing a novel process for the production of silica-based aerogel materials. So to dig in a bit to the current trade-off in insulation on the market, there is no product that hits at once optimal thermal efficiency, fire performance, and price. We have plastic-based materials like phenolic foams that are good insulators, low on price, but they do burn. So actually in the UK and a number of other jurisdictions, they've been banned in tall buildings. We then have mineral wools, everyone knows. They don't burn, relatively inexpensive, but they're not very thermally efficient. So especially in dense urban areas, not a great choice. You have to use a lot of thickness. Aerogels have also been on the market for a while in various forms, but they've never achieved a price low enough to be mass produced for the construction industry. And the reason for this comes down to the chemistry, actually. So a lot of current aerogel processing, you're looking at some batch processing or some semi-continuous, often some very high cost precursors and high temperature and pressure processes. So in basically what we did at Thermilon is went back and looked at the process, what techniques we could use, the lowest cost reagent to flow in a continuous process at ambient temperature and pressure and achieve the best powder-based silica aerogel that we can. And in the long term, hopefully compete actually on a price basis with plastic materials, but offering a superior fire performance. So we have these grand ambitions as a company, obviously, from the point of view of chemistry, but as anybody who knows who's scaled a chemical process, especially to do with something as complex as aerogels, you know it takes time. And we're actually only just founded a little less than 2 years ago. So as we scale our own process, we've been trying to hit the market already, both in solid wall homes and in tall buildings, which are two essential sectors for insulation in the UK. And we've been doing this by developing some renders using commercially available aerogels. So as you can see in solid wall homes in the UK, it can often be very difficult to treat. Some of them have been applied with cement-based renders in the past that aren't very breathable and cause a lot of damp and mold issues that you can see in these photos. So what we've been developing is a cement-free lime-based aerogel render using commercially available aerogels, and already applying it to homes and buildings in the UK with some great results. So as you actually see here in this short video, once you apply it on the wall in the form of a plaster or a render, you get exactly the product that you're looking for, smooth, clean wall with an excellent thermal performance. Ooh, sorry. So if you look at who we are as a team tackling this challenge, we sort of have three core tenets: chemistry, commercial and marketing, and engineering. On the chemistry side, Dr. Samuel Pryor, our original founder, holds his PhD from Imperial College London in synthesis. Myself, I have a background in chemical and bioprocess engineering from the University of British Columbia, and the third founder, Rosalie Riklova, has a background in economics and law, and has also done some startup fundraising in the past. We're supported by a team of advisors in chemistry, in commercial, and in engineering. We have some support from a professor in chemical engineering at Imperial College as well, where our labs are. And we also recently hired another engineer who, apologies to him, got squished on the slide a bit, as it was originally designed for 3 people. And he's made a great contribution to the team, and we've also had interns in the past, and hopefully having in another aerogel chemist in November. So in short, we're Thermilon. We're a London-based process technology startup working on the next generation of mineral-based building insulation to give energy efficiency and fire performance. And we're really happy to talk with any potential collaborators. We just closed an investment round, so we're sort of good on funding for the next 18 to 24 months, but always happy to start those conversations early. But specifically, we're looking for collaboration partners for scaling our process, because in chemistry, it's a long and expensive process for a startup to undertake. So feel free to send me an email, alex@thermilon.com, visit our website, and we're also on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Alex, thank you very much for this overview of Thermilon. And you mentioned that you have patents on your technology, and I have not really understood, is it mainly the process which these patents cover, or is it also a combination with materials, or do you use well-established materials?
Yeah, so that's a fair question. So first of all, I think I'd mentioned we are quite a new company, so we're actually just in the process of writing and filing our first process-based chemistry patent. And originally we were only focused on this chemistry, that we really just wanted to get it right, file a patent, raise the money to scale it. But then we sort of realized that there was a more immediate market opportunity in terms of providing actually these aerogel-based products, and that in certain markets, for instance, in solid wall homes in the UK, they were actually ready for a higher price point already being offered. There just wasn't really a well-integrated product. Some people might be aware of Fix-It, which is an existing aerogel-based plaster, which is a really excellent product, but it does contain cement in some of their formulations, and especially in heritage buildings in the UK, there's kind of a bit of a hesitancy to do that, and it's also not very widely available in the UK as it is in Germany and Austria. So yeah, we saw this opportunity and sort of entered the market with a product, even though it wasn't our original plan and focus.
And if I'm right, I learned the next two big steps are to find investors and all production facilities.
Yeah, so we do have some initial investors. We've had sort of a pre-seed and seed round, sort of, compared to a traditional chemical scaling, relatively small investment, sort of to keep us going on the process and product development side. And sort of we're on, I'd say, like a 18-month track to really nail down the chemistry and the process, nail down that IP, and sort of then at that stage we'll be looking for larger investors and partners to help fund a pilot facility.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex, for this overview and these insights into Thermilon and your company, and all the best for you and the team.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, we are now at the end of our second hour, so to speak, and we start again at 4 o'clock when we again have startups presenting their new technologies in order to come into contact with you. So see you again in a couple of minutes.